Welcome to the 5G Podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversations about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode.
Turn the camera, get it rolling.
Get her going and rolling, and here we go.
Oh, right. Awkward. We always say, here we go, and then it's like, Trevor, start the timer.
Oh,
Okay.
here we go.
Right now. Editor. Cut.
Note to the editor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so how was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty solid. It was good. I mean, I can't complain.
Most important thing
Mm-hmm.
is that you had a piece of pie.
Yes, that was actually the one I was going to say. My favorite Thanksgiving food was I made a cheat for my mom's homemade pecan pie. One small slice, and as I mentioned, the sugar-free whipped cream. But just I was like, all right, this is my one cheat for Thanksgiving. The rest of Thanksgiving, I did pretty good on the diet. I mean, I stuck to just like white turkey breast and vegetables, really.
Yeah.
It helped my wife and I, mostly her, made a ratatouille that we brought to her family's Thanksgiving. It was pretty sick. Like the movie, it's just like a vegetable casserole, basically, but in tomato sauce. And,
Is it good? I've never had it.
It was pretty good. This is the third time she's made the sauce. The second time she's made the whole ratatouille, and it's gotten better every time. So it's not bad. The first time, like, too much tomato can be a bit acidic, and we didn't add like sugar to the sauce.
Yeah.
But no, we got it pretty good this time. I don't know, a better ratio.
And it's like zucchini and...
Yeah, zucchini, yellow squash. There's supposed to be eggplant, but dude, I can't find eggplant in Arizona. I looked all over. Also, who likes eggplant? Nobody.
The Greek.
Yes, that's right. You told me. You had eggplant on every dish there.
Quite a bit.
And I have had a fried eggplant in Argentina, actually. They used it as like a vegan or a... What is that word? The vegetarian. Vegetarians. Is that a real word? Vegetarian substitute for like the chicken fried steak.
Oh,
and the
sure.
Fried chicken. Chicken fried eggplant. It was okay.
Fair enough.
But anyway, squash, zucchini, tomato, and we use just like purple onion instead of eggplant. So you get a nice like color spread in the casserole. And then just the tomato sauce, a little jalapeno, some fresh garlic for spices. You roast it in the oven. It's pretty good. It just feels very fresh. It tastes very like nice.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of zucchini or yellow squash.
Oh, yeah, okay.
In fact, I avoid them like the plague.
At all costs. You probably wouldn't like it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've always thought. But like, if someone made like, I love purple onion and I love tomato. So like if someone made like just that.
Just tomato, or maybe the eggplant one.
I don't mind eggplant.
I'd probably be okay with it, but
It's like a neutrally tart thing where it's like, it's not a ton of flavor, but it like is enough where you're like, oh, it's there, but it's not like amazing.
I don't think I know how to cook it normally.
No.
Unless I was following a recipe. But
Yeah.
eggplant.
Anyway.
But yeah, other than like vegetables and then like white breast turkey meat and the one slice of pecan pie, it's pretty good.
Very good. Very good. What is it? Is pecan pie pecan? How do you?
It just tastes like diabetes. That's what my dad said.
Well, I mean, it isn't. Not only does it just taste like it kind of just is.
Basically
It's just sugar and butter, and
It's,
you're like, oh yeah, and this is healthy because nuts
and corn syrup, I think.
Oh yeah,
Gives it the stickiness. Yeah.
It's not good for you.
It's really not.
It's like the most pure form of carbohydrate possible.
Just drinking corn syrup.
But it's so yummy.
It tastes very, and it's got pecans. I like pecans. So
Pecans are good. This is a super side tangent story about pecans, because one of my favorite pies is also pecan pie.
Pecan and pecan, those are the only two correct ways to say it.
Pecan pie, but how do I usually say it? Pecan? No, I usually say pecan.
Pecan or pecan? You can't do pecan.
Pecan?
I'm pretty sure.
Pecan pie.
I've been to the pecan capital of the world in Texas, and that's what they say.
Anyway, pecan pie. There, near my neighborhood, there's a person that has pecan tree.
Ooh.
And so we would walk home, and at certain points in the year, they would just be on the ground in their shells.
Mhm.
And so we would gather up like handfuls of these things. And we, like when you were a kid, you would like take your shirt and use it as like a basket,
little
right? We would do
pouch.
that, and then we crack them, and then just eat them on our way home.
Cool.
It was so good. My mom always got pissed off because we'd just be covered in pecan shells. Yeah, pecan pie is one of my favorite.
What about you? Your Thanksgiving?
Pretty good. Yeah. I'm still sore from playing sports in the morning,
Nice.
which I haven't run or let alone sprinted
Mhm.
in such a long time.
Right. Yeah, when you think about it, you're like, when was the last time I ran?
And it felt nice, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
it was like, oh, this is like, like, I wrestled, so you like, when you would do sprints, you'd like, or you'd be like in a match or something like that, and you're like breathing heavy, but you have enough oxygen, you don't feel like crappy about it, but you're like, you feel like the air's like going in and out of your like esophagus.
You can
like,
feel it more, like you're just
and it's
because
like
you need it.
it's like refreshing. You're like, ooh, at least like for a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
for a little bit. Yeah,
and like after the first round, you're like, whew, and then after that, you're like, I'm dead.
that's it. Yeah, I'm done.
Or like after like a 1x1 or a 1 in 10 sprint, you're like, oh, that was fine.
One sprint was good. I got my heart rate up.
Yeah.
Like, breathing good.
I remember we would go do those stupid turkey sprints in the morning where it was, instead of a turkey trot, which is a 5K.
That's a normal thing people do.
It takes people, an hour to complete a 5K, maybe if they're slow, like really slow, maybe 30 minutes if you're, doing 10-minute miles.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But we would do 3 miles worth of sprints.
Just turkey sprints before Thanksgiving.
And it sucked. We'd start at 400 meters.
That's right.
Yards or whatever. I think it was meters.
Yeah, meters at the high school track.
Yeah. And we would do, 4 of those sprints, and it was all timed because wrestling coach.
Pick it up.
If we didn't make it, we had to do it again.
Which just seems like you're digging yourself a deeper hole, because if you didn't make it the first time, how are you gonna make it the second time? You're more tired.
At least if you're trying your hardest, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which is the incentive.
Definitely were the entire time, but we were just too big.
Yeah.
And he put the time at like such a low barrier where you and I were like most of the time like just barely making it.
Yeah, and so it's like nobody else is making it. Come on. You're not giving it your all.
I mean, think about the horsepower difference and the amount of torque required to get our 230, 280 pounds moving compared to, the
little
145 guy. He's like, yeah.
And then we just sprinted after that. Did we do 2 laps? Or we went down to 200s.
Yeah, down to 200s. And then we went to like 2100 meter sprints. And then another 30 or whatever it was. It felt like 800.
Yeah.
50 meter sprints. And then at the end of that, he's like, all right, now we're going to do some push-ups. And we're like,
push-ups? Why?
Just sprinted for 3 miles.
He's like, yeah, I got you for 20 more minutes. So
exactly. It's like, oh my gosh, come on, coach. And I would just, every single time, I would just be like drenched in cold sweat. Because it's November, right? Yeah. But you're so warm from sprinting that you're in a t-shirt and gym shorts.
Yep. If that breeze starts blowing in, you're
like once you stop moving and like you like rest for 5 seconds and your core cools down, you're like, oh man, it's cold.
Yeah, that was rough. Wrestling season being over Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's you're out there doing sprints.
And we only got Christmas Day off. Sundays and Christmas days were the 2 days we got off.
The days off, yeah.
Because we had practice on Saturdays. We had practice on Thanksgiving, on Black Friday, on the next Saturday. Like,
yeah, there was wow, that was a wild time.
Kind of sucked.
Why did I do that? Teenage me.
I look back and I was like, I did it my freshman year and I was like, that sucked. But like, it was fun. So like, okay. Sophomore year, like it sucked more. And I was like, maybe I don't do this the next year. But then I was like, nah, I'll do it again.
It was okay.
And junior year, I was like, this really sucks.
Yeah.
Because junior year, we were really pushing hard because that's the year we won a state championship.
We won state that year. So.
And then senior year, I was like, this really blows.
And that's when I pulled out. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not getting a scholarship for wrestling. No thanks.
Nor was I going to.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? I've done it for 4 years at this point because I had done 8th grade as well.
Oh, that's right.
I might as well just stick it out and do the full high school experience.
Might as well.
Man, I still have bad dreams about that.
Oh,
About
man.
anyway. It was fun, but it was rough. I just remember being tired all the time from like October till February.
Basically.
Just being like dead tired.
Falling asleep in class all day and then going to wrestling practice and dying again.
Yeah, for 4 hours.
That was probably one of my favorite inventions came out of that though. The morning workouts you showed me. Speaking of diabetes and Thanksgiving, the French toast Nutella and peanut butter sandwich was the most amazing thing after a morning run, after a morning workout. When you just like, I need carbs.
I need carbs and sugar to keep me awake.
To keep you awake throughout the whole school day. That's what it was. And so not like we did it every day, but French toast are your sandwich, your bread slices.
Hey, it's the protein aspect.
Yeah, there you go. You got some egg on there, egg wash. And then just Nutella on one, peanut butter on the other. Crunchy peanut butter, obviously.
Crunchy peanut butter.
Nuts are healthy, so.
And I like a little bit of texture in the sandwich instead of just being goops.
And so you showed me that, and maybe I try to bite of yours or whatever. I come back the next week with like my dad's French toast, just like this big.
Sourdough bread like pieces. And I had just like the normal like sandwich pieces that my mom had made. And yeah, that was so yummy.
Like, Dad, I need some French toast. He's like, well, I only do French toast this way, with the giant loaf. All right, here's a sandwich.
You're eating a foot long toast.
That was my 2,000 calories for the day right there.
Well, and I would make those protein shakes too.
Oh yeah.
I would bring you one of those.
I did enjoy those, yeah.
Because those were nutrient dense. Let's say.
Yeah.
Had all your macros for
Dude,
the day.
you can pound nutrients like calories in shakes.
Well,
it's
it also
unreal.
had a stupid amount of protein in it.
Yeah, I bet.
It had like 80 grams of protein in
Your
it.
serving is 100 grams. It's 80 grams of protein or whatever. You're like, whoa.
I mean, it was 3. Let's see. How do I remember how to make it? It was 3 scoops of protein powder, milk, obviously, peanut butter. Got to get more of it.
Yeah, more.
I would use smooth for this one though because I didn't want the chunks in it.
Yeah, in the shake.
A banana, yogurt, and honey.
Just a whole banana. Yeah.
And a whole yogurt.
Oh man, just like Greek yogurt, unflavored, right?
I would use vanilla Greek yogurt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because that's what my mom would buy for.
Yeah.
Making like yogurt parfaits in the morning for whatever.
Gotcha.
For the regular children.
Right. 1 yogurt cup for them, and
but I would make 2 or 3 of those a day.
Yeah. Pound those during wrestling season.
Yeah. I mean, I think I made those at I think they're like 1,000 calories a pop.
Oh yeah.
I think is what I remember trying to like. Yeah.
I saw just a quick thread online of like, oh, if you had to eat 20,000 calories in a day, but they paid you $1 million, how would you do it or whatever? And it's like, oh, easy. I do that every day. It's like $1 million is easy. No, but the actual response was like shakes. You could easily do 1,000 calorie shakes and just drink one every hour. Like liquid is so easy to consume.
Dude, or just like a freaking like 44-ounce soda.
Yeah, that's way more calories than people think. Like,
I mean,
that's why I prefer, especially on this diet. But even before I went on a diet, I was like, sugar-free soda is fine for me. I prefer to eat my calories because I like eating. I don't need to drink calories. I'm okay with sugar-free, 0-calorie stuff.
Yeah, me too.
It tastes fine.
Yeah, it's gotten way better.
Yes,
it used to be
pretty bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can drink calories without realizing it.
Oh, for sure. Especially if you have like one of those mass gaining supplements.
Yeah.
Where they're like, you're making like 1,500 calorie shakes.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they might not be the most tasty thing in the world, but they're not disgusting. And you just drink, like you said, one of those an hour. And
boom, you're done.
One of those an hour in a PB&J.
Easy.
Get there easy.
Yeah, even if you're not hungry in an hour, you could probably drink another shake.
Or just eat like another Snickers as well.
Yeah.
Like if you had a Snickers and a shake every hour, I think you'd get there pretty quick.
Yeah, a little bit of ice cream to top it off. Like, just for whatever reason, just slides down.
Pie.
Some pecan pie. Some ice cream on top
How
of
many
that.
calories are in like a standard pecan pie?
I didn't want to look.
I'm curious now. This is a Google question.
You think one slice of pecan pie or like the whole thing?
I'm thinking like the whole Costco sized pecan pie.
Oh, yeah. Well, Costco size might be. I don't know if you notice, sometimes on the Costco bakery, they don't have the nutrition facts. You have to look them up online.
That's not right.
Is it healthy?
This is saying traditionally prepared pecan pie has about 550 calories.
Surely they mean one slice.
Oh yeah, they do.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pecan pie. 1/8 of a 9-inch pie. So that's a standard pie tin.
Standard pie.
One,
1/8.
that's a standard slice of pie.
Yeah, okay.
It's, at least according to carbmanager.com.
Oh, thank you.
Is 530 calories.
Okay, so the whole pie is 5,000 calories, give or take.
Yeah, whatever. It's 4,500 calories.
Sure.
Right?
In between.
Because it's 530 times 8. 4,250.
4,2. Oh, okay. That's low.
4,250.
All right. So eat the whole pie.
I mean, I could pound a...
No. You eat half a pie a day. Boom, 2,000 calories done.
Well, yeah, but you're trying to get it into 24 hours.
Oh, yeah,
in
24 hours. Ooh, yeah,
20,000.
that's like 5 pies. That's a lot.
Yeah, but you could replace 16. You could replace 4,000 of your calories with pecan pie.
Yeah, there you go.
And I could eat a slice of pie an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Even every other hour, that's 4,000 calories.
Yeah, even if I'm not hungry after the hour, I could probably eat another slice.
Some full sugar whipped cream on top of that, and yeah, I don't think. I mean, 20,000 calories is a lot of calories. It's a lot, but like if you're trying to do it
for whatever dumb reason, so in the
honestly,
joke of this,
honestly, just like, do you have to keep it down?
Oh, I don't think so.
I mean, just if you're like full, just bulimia your way out of it.
Yeah, right. And then just like fast for the next week. Like I don't need any food.
Yeah, for real. You let your body reset after that chaos.
Yeah, if only it worked that way. If you could just like not eat and then just like use up all the fat in your body
and just didn't get hungry.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
That would be cool.
Although to be fair, probably 50% of my calories comes from boredom eating.
Yeah.
Right. So I'll be like, I'm not hungry. It sounds really good while I'm watching Death Note right now. Slice of pie.
Slice of pie.
Slice of pumpkin pie. Or a pumpkin cheesecake.
Oh yeah.
That's a family favorite.
You had some of that this year?
We do every year. We have pumpkin cheesecake.
Okay. I've had it in years past, yeah, but nothing.
My family does. My family's a big pie family.
Okay.
Not only my immediate family, but like we do Thanksgiving every year with my cousins and my grandma and stuff like that. So there's usually around 50 people at our Thanksgivings.
Wow.
And
got a couple turkeys in.
We do 2 turkeys, and usually they're 90% gone by the time we're done. But there's so much other food that like turkey is not like the main staple, right? Yeah. I mean, there's so much other food, and then usually we have roughly it's usually like a 50% pie to person ratio.
Oh, okay.
So for every 2 people, there's usually 1 pie.
So everybody can eat half a pie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most people do.
You did say you were a big pie family.
Yeah, most of us were like, and they're a huge variety. It's not just like, it's all pumpkin and there's like one apple pie. It's got apple and cherry and banana cream and key lime and obviously
all the pudding pies. Yeah,
exactly. The chocolate pudding, and then chocolate peanut butter and blah blah blah. And then you've got the classics like pumpkin and pecan and pecan pie.
A couple cheesecakes too. Sounds like.
Yep, just the one usually.
Yeah,
is the pumpkin cheesecake.
Nice.
Just because, and that one is chef's kiss, so good.
Nice. My mom's homemade cheesecake is pretty good as well.
I love cheesecake,
but I was like, I don't know. In my head, that seemed worse than the pecan pie, or at the very least, I wanted the pecan pie more. So
that's fair.
Pecan pie.
That's very fair. So, what is your? You guys have did you guys go to your in-laws and your parents?
Yeah, we did. My parents and then her parents, and then we went to a second house for dessert with her family, and then then we went back to my parents for dessert and to pick up our leftovers.
Nice.
Yeah, so we
Dude, leftovers for Thanksgiving.
it's good.
Yesterday for lunch, I made a
Turkey sandwich.
except I just basically I took the roll, right?
Mhm.
I took a roll and cut it in half, obviously, and then put turkey down with some of the gravy as like the mayonnaise or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I took the green beans that my mom makes, which they're full size green beans, like fresh green beans.
Oh, cool.
And then she covers them in goat cheese and Parmesan, and then bakes that
Nice.
and broils it. Excuse me, broils it for I don't know how many minutes, 5 minutes or something like that. So the cheese gets all nice and crispy and melty and stuff like that. So I put all that onto a sandwich,
Solid.
and it was so good.
That's cool. That's cool. I think I just had turkey. I should have had some ratatouille left over, but I forgot.
And you couldn't have any like potatoes, huh?
I don't know if sweet potatoes were a cheat. I'm technically allowed to have every vegetable now, except for like probably still not potatoes because that's not really a vegetable. I was like, but sweet potatoes.
It's a yam.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're a fan of sweet potatoes?
I do like sweet potatoes.
With
Yeah,
the marshmallow and brown sugar on top.
not with the marshmallow. Not after I looked up the nutrition facts on those. It's like, okay, at least nuts are somewhat healthy. They're healthy fats is what nuts add. So it's like, okay, you still shouldn't have too many fats, but
Nuts and avocado are okay.
yeah. If you're gonna have fats, healthy fats are better. So yeah, not the marshmallows. I stuck to my dad does the like pecan and a little bit of brown sugar, I think, on one half of the sweet potatoes and then marshmallows on the other.
My family does the brown sugar and marshmallows on the same like.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not a fan of sweet potatoes.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't like them. I don't know what it is.
So, you would not like Argentina. Sweet potatoes like super common there for everything.
Yeah,
They have like sweet potato jam.
sweet potatoes are not. I think they're probably my least favorite food.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think because I don't have like that many least favorite foods.
Squash and
I just squash
zucchini.
and squash. Most squash, I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
I'm okay with like spaghetti squash and like things like that. If it's prepared well, I'm okay with
Oh
it.
yeah.
And if like a zucchini is like or yellow squash is like cut up in something, like in like a mash or I don't know.
Yeah. Stir fry. I don't know.
Something, right? I'm okay with it generally than that as well.
Oh, okay.
But sweet potato,
Can't do
just a sweet potato. Can't
just
do
a
it.
raw sweet potato.
Nope.
No, yeah.
Can't do it.
Man.
But sweet potato fries I can do.
Deep fry anything and I can eat it.
That's the only way to eat okra as well.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Raw okra. Yeah, nobody eats that.
Yeah.
Gotta be fried.
No. So what is your favorite Thanksgiving food? Not the desserts.
Not the desserts. We've talked plenty about desserts. The actual food, sweet potato dessert.
No, I mean,
No, yeah.
I wouldn't consider
That or turkey. I do like turkey every year.
dark meat or white meat.
The white meat,
Yeah.
generally, yeah. I've enjoyed turkey legs. They're not bad.
Do you do it with gravy or no gravy or
Normally I'd smother it in gravy, yeah, but
not this time?
this year I didn't.
I
And
mean,
it was fine. I still enjoyed both the turkeys I had.
my mom and I were cooking this year and she was doing one of the turkeys and I was helping her do all the other little things that she was signed up to do for our family's thing.
Yeah.
And one of her things was the gravy, and man, the gravy we made was super yummy.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, what my favorite turkey's good, and I'm a dark meat fan in general. Yeah. But man, you throw me some like funeral potatoes.
Good mashed potatoes, hard to
Mashed
beat.
potatoes with gravy, also very difficult to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to choose a favorite.
It's hard to choose. I'm not a big stuffing guy, but I know stuffing is a popular one.
If it's like a good stuffing, I can get behind it. But if it's like a normal stuffing,
You're like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, not amazing.
Gotcha.
We move on. I have a question to ask you.
Yeah, shoot.
So
Readjust. Segment.
Cut. No, I was scrolling on TikTok, as I do,
As you do.
and I came across a clip of a show, and I was like, "Ooh, this show looks interesting." And then I saw the caption that says "Wheel of Time," and I was like,
Mhm.
"I watched the first season of that show, and it did
Yeah.
not look interesting. It was not interesting. I mean,
No.
it was not good,
Not good at all.
not like at all."
Yeah.
And so I guess this is my question to you. You read the books.
Uh-huh.
You are an enjoyer of the books.
Yeah, at least I think halfway through. I think there's 12 or 13 books, and I read the first 6.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, there's a lot of books.
Jeez Louise.
Well, and then the author died, and so in his will, he told another author to finish the series. So that's why there was like 3 extra books at the end.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
I
yeah.
wanted to get your take on. We both watched the first season.
Yeah.
My question is, are you going to be watching the second season?
Oh,
or
hell no. No way am I watching the second season.
What if it's better than the first season?
I mean, if I just wait and like hear the reviews that say it's better than the first season, would I watch it? I don't know. That depends. Like the second season, so book 2, I'm assuming, did introduce one of my favorite characters actually, but I just like I forced myself through season 1 because I did genuinely enjoy the book and the world, the a couple of characters I liked, but I just, that's the best description. I had to force myself through season 1 because I kept wanting it to be good. I was waiting. I was just waiting. I was like, okay, surely this will get good eventually, right? Like, and it was just so bad, so terrible. I think even people who didn't read the books were just like, this show was bad.
Yeah.
It was just slow. It was going nowhere. And so I don't think I could do season 2. I don't think I will. Wheel of Time, for people who don't know, is a big fantasy series. Like I said, 12 books. Like it's, I'm not going to say on par with Lord of the Rings, but it's akin to that, where you have this big fantasy world. And it just kind of follows like a Game of Thrones style. It follows a lot of different characters. And so every couple chapters you get from the point of view of a different character at different points in the world. And the books are cool because the story does evolve like at different points all over the world. And so, for instance, in one of the books, like book 4 or whatever, it follows 3 like main boys, kind of the main protagonists. They're like the chosen ones or whatever. In one of the books, it like doesn't even follow one of the boys at all because it's just like he's not doing anything relevant right now chronologically. So we're just sticking with these 2 and other people. So the concept is cool when you have this big long series and this big fantasy world with, you know, magic and evil dudes and chosen ones, wizards. Concept is cool that you can do whatever you want in that world, like Dungeons and Dragons in a way.
Yeah.
Got this giant world. We're just going to tell a story in this part of it, but maybe it's connected to all of this going on. But the show, I don't know. I think Amazon really screwed the pooch on that. If they ruined season 1, and I think objectively a lot of people agree with that, they're not going to have season 2 do well. They're not going to be able to continue to like have this long Game of Thrones style show that they want, probably.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with most of that sentiment. I think what I'll probably end up doing
is hate watch it.
Well, probably. At least 2 episodes.
Give it 2 episodes.
I'll give it the first 2 episodes and see if it's redeeming.
Mm-hmm.
And if not, it'll turn into a Halo or a House of the Dragon for me, and just.
Well, I was about to say, I think I'll get you there, Steven, because I'm pretty sure they're only going to do 1 episode a week.
There's 8 episodes out already.
There's 8 episodes out already?
Yeah, I looked this morning.
Oh, no way.
I went to look because I was going to bring that up as well. I was gonna
Season 1, they did 1 episode a week. I remember that.
That's right, they did.
Yeah, so I just assumed they do it the same way.
There's 8 episodes out right now.
We've already beat this topic to death then, but why would the same people in charge make 2 different decisions on that? That doesn't, for their same show.
Yeah, this is a dead horse that we've smashed to bits already, and just we got to keep beating it. Apparently.
Doesn't make any sense. Why did they drop the whole season?
Well, I don't know if it's the whole season though.
But 8 episodes.
I mean,
could be a whole season.
It could. It could.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like mini-series territory at that point.
Yeah, really.
Anything under 8 and under is like mini-series. Like,
Yeah. You're telling me, like, back in the day,
yeah, when shows used to be 18 episodes.
yeah, at least 20 plus.
Yeah. Like I think like, and this is obviously completely different genre, but like Star Wars: The Clone Wars,
Mhm.
I think each season is like 25 episodes or something like that. Like something ridiculous.
And it's like, okay, each episode is 25, but the season finale is usually longer. It's usually like an hour long.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think I'll probably watch a couple of the episodes.
okay, if they're all out, maybe I can hate watch an episode or two.
watch it at 2 times speed,
Yeah,
1.5 times
Does
speed.
Amazon Video let you do
I
that?
think they do.
Okay. The brief story about my dad, he like back in the day, these books started in the 80s. They were pretty big. My dad was like into fantasy and sci-fi novels back then, a whole bunch. He couldn't even read book one. He's like, it's like book one is so boring. There's so many characters, nothing's happening. Like this show is, or this book is trash. I don't get why people like it.
Well, don't people say like, oh yeah, it gets good by book 4 or something?
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, that's what I've heard. Is the joke like, no, like, yeah, it's kind of a rough start, books 1 through 3, but it gets better. Like, ugh. Whereas I read books 1 through 3, and I feel like those could have been its own trilogy. Like,
Really?
yeah, it kind of left it well enough concluded,
Mm-hmm.
but there was just like a little inkling, like not a cliffhanger, but just like, oh, there could maybe still be more. Like he thought he killed the big bad. No spoilers. At the end of book 3, he's like, I killed the big bad, but then there's just like a little bit of like, but maybe he did it.
Oh, sure.
So you're like, that was a little bit too easy.
Sure.
Yeah, we got 9 more books for you to actually kill the big bad. But that was just like a representation of him. So
Sure.
But yeah, my dad couldn't even make it through book 1 back in the day. And then he watched the show and he's just like, yeah, no, he's like, this is how I remember it. This is boring.
Yeah, we'll see. I've been thinking in terms of like books and things like that recently. I've had the desire to write a fantasy book for a while.
Yeah.
Just as like a little, it's not like my goal in life to become an author. But
No.
I think it'd be fun to have like a book that I've written, like a story I've created,
Yeah.
and like a character that I've developed anyway. But Caleb brought up recently that he's like headcanoning or like writing out his Warhammer lore for his army, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was, at first I was like, that's just too much work. But then I was thinking about it, I was like, but like, I would definitely read a Deathcore of Krieg book written by like a Deathcore marshal or something like that, or like the commander of the forces, and just like his journal, so to speak.
Yeah.
If it was like written out by like the journal of the post-action report of each of these battles, but like from his own perspective. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be kind of fun to do like a little like, mini book about that. And
war in the 41st millennium. We're still fighting in trenches.
yeah, we still use mortars
Yeah.
instead of just bombarding it from space.
We're fighting aliens instead of Nazis now, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, effectively.
And alien Nazis.
And we're just space Nazis.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's the thing in Warhammer. Everyone's Nazis.
Everyone's a fascist.
Yeah.
Everyone's a fascist. Everyone's a nationalist.
There are all these crazy militaristic groups fighting against each other because it's war. It's Warhammer.
Yeah. And then if the humans aren't fighting each other, they're fighting other stuff.
Yeah.
But mostly it's just humans fighting each other.
Humans fighting each other, right? Yeah. Surprise there. But yeah, that'd be interesting. Have that like on the shelf. Be like, yeah, this is the book I wrote.
Yeah, and make it like, make it like a nice hardcover, like, or make it like look like a journal with like a Deathcore of Krieg stamp on it or something
that
like
would be
that.
kind of cool, yeah.
I don't know how like much copyright infringement it would be.
Oh yeah.
to like do that.
Yeah, have to get a license from like Games Workshop or something.
But like, I mean, if I just did one copy of it, just like for myself,
Oh yeah.
and like made it all nice, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think if you're not selling it, it should be fine. So
Yeah. Or like if you're giving it away for free, I think it's fine too.
Oh yeah.
Because it doesn't.
I've heard it's somewhat easy just to like publish your books on Amazon these days.
It's very easy.
And then you can just sell it and make
Very easy.
profit. I don't know who's buying random books on Amazon, but apparently there's a market for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if Caleb is like the target audience, then maybe someone like him. But
Hmm.
or like I know Audible, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
like read your own book or whatever, and like you can record it and put it on for
Oh,
Audible,
okay. Yeah,
and then it counts as like a book.
an audiobook.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. Anyway,
Anyway.
uh, let's you had a interesting trial run of
Yes.
go ahead. You got this.
It was video games. Go. Um,
I choose you, Trevor.
Nerd Corner with Trevor. Welcome to our new segment talking about video games. Surprise! It's one of the 5Gs. In case you didn't know. Thank you to our first-time listeners, but welcome. We talk about video games often. Diablo 4 has a free weekend. So by the time you're watching this, it's already over. Sorry.
Sucks for suck.
It was a holiday weekend in America.
America.
And so
America.
I've played the previous Diablos. I grew up probably playing Diablo 2 more than anything back in the day. And I played a good amount of Diablo 3. It had a rocky start right when it released. Got tons of bad PR around that. But later in the lifespan of the game, it was pretty good. It was pretty fun, actually. They'd fixed a lot and really changed almost everything about the game. So
These are top-down RPGs, right?
yeah, so it's isometric, meaning you're kind of like an angle and you're just controlling your character. You're clicking around, or you can just hold and drag. And it's an action RPG. So you're there to hack and slash your way through a ton of monsters. And it's RPG, so you level up, you get different skills to just help you hack and slash better or faster. And there's an overworld map that you're walking around on and doing quests, but then there's also just like confined dungeons where it's just kill all the guys in the dungeon. Sometimes they got random little events, either out in the open world or in the dungeons. The boss fights are usually pretty unique, actually pretty intuitive, where you got to use some combination of interaction with the environment and strategy. And so Diablo 4 I think got a decent amount of bad rap when it released as well for a couple different reasons. Like it had a $70 price tag, which was kind of meh. It had microtransactions.
With a $70 price
With
tag.
a $70,000 price tag, you get all the in-game cosmetics from the in-game store that you want, which is weird. And again, there's a big hotkey there, like they tell you in the tutorial, like press P to open the shop, and you think like, oh, open the shop, I'm going to sell my stuff. No, it means the microtransaction shop. You go to an actual shop in game to sell your stuff. So it feels a little weird, like it's a little bit modernized. But I played a good amount yesterday, maybe 2 hours. Got to level 15 or whatever. Passed the tutorial a decent amount, and it was actually pretty fun. My wife and I were playing. Yeah, and it wasn't that bad. My one complaint, but I think that is related just because I've been playing Baldur's Gate that has amazing cutscenes and like the motion capture and the NPCs or whatever. So coming off of the high of that, whereas like this is the peak of like cutscenes, and then playing Diablo 4 where the cutscenes are isometric and it's just two little models talking to each other like. I was like, all right, this is boring. Can I skip this, please? Like, I don't care about watching voice lines. I'm just having voice lines read to me. Can I put this on 2x speed? So I was a little impatient with some of the cutscenes. But the actual gameplay was pretty good. The gameplay loop is simple enough. It's just like fight and kill monsters. But like playing with somebody, you never felt like you were getting dragged along or that, one person's going faster than the other or whatever. Because it's like, oh no, you killed some monsters without me. Okay, I'll catch up. There's still more monsters to kill. And so it was a pretty good co-op game in that regard. Some co-op games can feel a little like if the one partner knows way more about the game, he's just miles ahead.
Yeah.
But no, you're just kind of both hacking and slashing. I was the necromancer, so I had all my skeletons kill everything. My wife was the rogue with the bow, so she was just like, she was just a turret in the back. It was good. It was fine. I don't know if I personally would spend $70 to play it. But actually, I had my mind changed a little bit about it. It was a fun game.
Yeah, I honestly think that they're. It's so sad when games do this,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's just a problem in the industry that you either have games that are super good,
Mm-hmm.
but just don't have the marketing behind them to push them, right? Or you have game. So there's three types of games, really. There's game, maybe four. I don't know.
We gotta quantify this.
Yeah, we gotta
someday,
have
but-
a matrix going. No,
Yeah.
no. But what I was saying,
diagram.
I was gonna say, like, basically, like when they came out with Diablo 4,
Mhm.
their marketing campaign for it was fantastic.
Yes,
in my
yeah.
opinion,
You saw ads everywhere for Diablo 4.
and good ads too.
Mhm.
It wasn't like I saw an ad. Like they had a bunch of TikToks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
People were
remember that.
reposting their TikToks, which obviously is fantastic. And some of them, it was like there was no storyline about it, and it wasn't like this is a video game. It was like literally just like a clip of like this war between like light and dark, and I was like, dude, this is sick. Like, what
This looks
anime or
cool.
whatever is this from? Right? Like
Mhm.
what is this from? I want to watch this. And then it like had like this whole like big battle between these demons and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it just like big demon stomps on the head and like roars, and then like Diablo 4
Yeah.
like above its head, and I was like, dude, that looks sick.
It looks cool. Sign me up.
And then they had the thing where you could, if you beat the game on hardcore,
Mm-hmm.
you'd get your name engraved on this statue of the big bad boss or
Yes,
whatever.
yep.
Lilith,
yeah, is the new villain.
and it's in front of the
Blizzard
the
headquarters.
Blizzard headquarters
over in
or something
California.
like that, right? And it's like, dude, that's pretty sick. Like, you can beat the game without dying
once.
on the hardest difficulty. Like,
Which my wife and I already died once. So I mean, it's
there is a difficulty scaler.
There
right?
is, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So like, that's intense. Like, if you
Mhm.
can do that, like, that's crazy.
That's pretty. Yeah, the game is revolved around just like going, killing a bunch of dudes. Maybe you die, you get up, you restart. Like it's pretty beginner friendly.
Sure.
So like actually doing it hardcore is like you're a veteran, like you're good at
Yeah.
this game.
Which is like, so like that whole marketing aspect, and I saw
It's great.
all the streamers playing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Shroud and
Oh, yeah.
all those guys. They were all playing it, and it looked decent, but I'm just not into the RPGs as much as.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, they almost had me convinced to like at least look into buying.
At
it,
least,
right?
yeah, look at it.
But I'm not going to spend $70 on a game
No,
and then have to pay microtransactions if I want something cool.
if you want something cool, yeah.
I'll do one or the other.
Mhm.
Sorry.
I don't know. I've seen there's mounts, but I don't know if you get those eventually without buying them from the microtransaction store. Because otherwise, we got to compare it to New World of how expensive the horse is. The $30 horse in New World,
Which would make it a $70 game.
which would make it a $70 game. That's right. Yeah. Just saying.
Anyway,
It's a random throwback to our New World episode.
yeah. Which still doesn't run on my computer.
That is so sad. Yeah.
It's so ridiculous too, because my computer is not a bad computer.
No,
Like, it's a reasonable computer.
I don't know why that is.
It's dumb.
But
Arc doesn't run on my computer either.
yeah, there's just a few games. I wonder if they're just like using the same graphic settings or something that doesn't jive with your video card.
I mean, it's a GeForce like
It's a normal video card.
yeah. It's not like I made my own.
Yeah.
Like I bought a. I don't
The
know.
only thing would be maybe update your video drivers. That
They're all updated. I update them all the time.
uninstall, re-update.
I don't know.
Sometimes that helps, but it's a mess.
I don't know. It's all right. I just play CS anyway.
Yeah, it's just a big Counter-Strike machine. That's all you need. Your computer for.
Right now, it definitely is. I was looking yesterday. I played quite a bit of games yesterday, and I was looking, and I was like, I got on in the morning after helping my dad with some stuff and whatnot,
Mhm.
blah blah blah, and it was like 10:30 or whatever, and I was like, I'm gonna hop on some CS. Hopped on until like I don't know. I played like 2 games, and then I hopped off and went and had lunch, and then tried hopping on with Caleb, and that didn't work. So. But I was like looking, and I was like, oh, I should play a different game. Like I've got a bunch of games. I was like looking, and I was like, but I really just want to play CS.
Maybe Counter-Strike.
So I was like, yeah, I'll play something else later. I played like another 2 hours
Yeah.
of CS, and then I was like, I need to get off, like go do something. So I went and read my book a little bit, and and then
Long weekends, man.
And then I got back on, and I was like, watched some YouTube and whatnot, and I was like, CS.
It's about time for more CS. Yeah. Well, look at the time.
and then I was playing CS into the night, and then I had just gotten off, and then you texted
Yeah, and
me,
then I dragged you back on.
and then we played some Halo.
Yeah, we played some Halo.
My day yesterday was CS, food, and that's about it.
That's holidays, man. Holiday weekend.
Halo. So anyway, it was quite the played a lot of CS. I was green. I was on fire towards the end of the day, though.
Oh, I bet you practiced all day.
I mean, I was probably on hour 4 of the day.
You're like, well, I'm getting good.
Yeah, like there was this one.
I'm on fire.
It was a 1v8.
Oh my goodness.
And I killed 6 of them.
They let you get away with that?
I killed 6 of them, and then finally
ran out of ammo or whatever. Like,
no, I got sniped.
Yeah. The op.
Yeah.
It gets us all.
And I wasn't going to win anyway because the bomb had been downed over somewhere where I wasn't, and they were all converging on me because I had killed 3 of them, so they knew where I was.
Yeah,
right?
yep.
But
rough.
Anyway.
That's fun, though. That's not to get off on the tangent, but man, if every week could be a 3-day work week and a 4-day vacation, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
That wouldn't work.
no qualifiers. Yeah, I was just like, I can kind of work for 3 days, and then it's a 4-day weekend is nice.
I feel like society would be a lot better, but everyone would be so poor.
Yeah, probably.
But also, no one would care because,
work-life balance.
Although, to be fair, probably what would happen is that there would be one job where it's like, yeah, I'll pay you double what everyone else makes, but you have to work 4 days. You have to work
4 or 5 days. Ooh.
Yeah, and then it's like,
yeah,
well, what am I doing?
Anyway. Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
you
had one. We had introducing this next topic.
Segment.
Cut. No.
The movie corner.
With Trevor and Steven.
5G podcast.
Yeah, it doesn't fit into the 5Gs anywhere.
We talk about movies a decent amount, though.
We do.
Sometimes they're nerd related.
I mean, yeah, I think it's not.
This one has guns in it.
And God.
And actually, no.
Really?
Which is an interesting thing I'll talk about.
All right, well.
Yeah.
Shall I introduce the topic?
Go for it.
It's been a movie that I've been eagerly anticipating ever since I saw the trailer for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a fan of this type of movie, or at least ostensibly I'm a fan.
Yeah.
It's the Napoleon movie.
The Napoleon.
Is it called Napoleon or is it called Bonaparte?
Napoleon.
Yeah. Couldn't remember which name they had used on the actual title of the movie. Yeah, it's a movie about Napoleon Bonaparte, the great French conqueror.
It's about his life.
Yeah. And,
so it's a drama documentary.
Yep. And so I guess let's start off with your opinion, and then
sure.
I can give my 2 cents. I haven't seen the movie.
You haven't seen it yet. I went and saw it yesterday, and it's pretty solid. The acting is really solid. It's really good. It's Joaquin Phoenix, who is Hollywood's most famous ugly guy. They get him to play all the ugly roles.
Which is funny that he's playing this character because Napoleon was supposed to be a reasonably attractive guy.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that actually.
I mean, not amazingly good looking, but
yeah.
I don't think he was by any means ugly.
Oh, okay.
And also, I don't really love that they cast him for it because he's 50 years old and Napoleon was 26.
He was young when he started. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but it seemed okay. But also his wife was smoking hot. And by the end of the movie, she's supposed to be 40 or 50 or whatever. He's she's still smoking hot. Okay.
Josephine, is that?
Josephine, yeah. Which the actress, I forget her name, but she was in the last Fast and Furious movie or something, I think. She's not bad. Or Mission Impossible. I don't know, one of those.
Anyway.
You'd probably recognize her. But yeah, the movie, the acting was pretty good. It covers his whole life, which I enjoyed because I didn't know a whole lot about Napoleon's personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of dives into that too. I just knew the military side of it. and really from start to finish, it starts with like his first like good victory over the British, where he gets promoted to general after that battle, and then all the way to the end, the Great Waterloo, his great defeat, and then his subsequent exile, and that's kind of the falling action. So it was cool seeing his
But he
personal
comes back
life.
after his exile, which is
Well, no, so it's,
real life.
yeah, he has 2 exiles.
Oh, okay.
Right,
so he gets
right.
exiled the first time.
He gets exiled the first time and then comes back.
Does it show his first exile
does,
in the movie,
yeah.
and then he comes
It's-
back and everyone's like, Napoleon,
Napoleon,
And
yeah.
he's like, I'm the emperor now, and everyone's like, yes, you are.
Yes, it was actually a really cool scene. That was when he's just lands on the shores of France, and he's just like slowly like walking towards Paris, and he's like each shot has like more soldiers coming in, and then it's like the new King Louis the 19th or whatever, which they depicted him like super fat and ugly. It was hilarious. He's like, "Sir, Napoleon's on his way," and he's like, "Oh," and stuffs his face more, like he's so worried. And then he's like, oh, "Send out the army or whatever." So it's like along the road, the official army is trying to stop Napoleon's army, but it's like the 5th Regiment or whatever, like the regiment that he knew. And they're like, their commander's like, "All right, men, like, fix aim at Napoleon." And then Napoleon's just like, "Brothers," or whatever. And they're all cheering, and they all just like clap him on the back, and they join his group on the march back to Paris, which is wild. Like he was so charismatic. They just like, please be our new king, even though we just got rid of kings.
Yeah.
And they showed that scene, which was cool. Him and his brother working on a coup to basically overthrow I forgot what they called it, their council or whatever. They forced the other council members to resign at gunpoint. Those scenes were hilarious. They're like, "Oh yes, good morning, Councilman so-and-so. We have a letter of resignation here for you to sign." It's like, "I haven't even finished breakfast." Yeah, you need to sign this right now, or we're gonna shoot you. Like, oh, okay, yes. Like it was solid. He was so charismatic. The military loved him, and so he was just a natural leader.
And smart, too.
He was pretty smart. The pacing for like a drama, historical war drama documentary was really good. It never felt boring for a 2 hour 40 long movie. So it was all positive. If I had some more time to sit on it, I could think of some criticisms, but I enjoyed it. It was at least like an 8, I think.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
High marks.
7 to 8.
High marks.
Because I can't think of anything that was like criticism, but maybe it wasn't like.
But
amazing.
it wasn't like, I don't know, The Eternals for you or something like that.
No, yeah, definitely not.
Where it was like, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
enjoyed it.
I've been really looking forward to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad yesterday was sending us articles about the movie, like
yeah.
reviews from like critics or whatever, and all of them were negative.
Really?
No one liked the movie apparently.
Huh.
And I was like, first of all, I don't trust any of the critics because like they've like knocked movies before or promoted movies in the past.
Yeah, that
I've seen, and I'm like, the ones that they knocked, I'm like, that was a great movie, like or at least definitely
it was fine. Yeah,
like it was like I don't hate that I went, you know. And then there have been movies where they're like, this was the most amazing movie ever created.
So cinematographic.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. The cinematography was just out of this world, and it's like a 3 out of 10 on my scale. I'm just like, this movie was junk.
What a waste of time.
This was the biggest waste of time in the world. Like the Spider-Man movie.
Which one?
The one where there's multiple Spider-Mans.
Oh.
What is that called?
The animated one or
the live action one with all 3 of the Spider-Mans?
No Way Home?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I hated that movie. I hated that movie. It was just a nostalgia orgy for everyone. That's the only thing that it was. It was just a nostalgia gang bang, and that's it. Like there was no substance to that movie. It was the stupidest movie ever.
Hey, remember this character?
Exactly. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there like, and I've seen a few of those movies, but like not like I didn't grow up watching them. Like I've seen them later in life, and so for me, they were like mediocre movies in general.
Yeah. But hey, this actor, he played that one guy,
and like
you liked him.
For me, I'm just like, I watched that movie and I was just like, this is the most boring movie. There was no story.
Yeah.
The story was, look, there's these bad guys, and we beat the bad guys. It was like a freaking like it should have been like a 25-minute episode of like a TV.
Yeah, and not to go on the tangent, but you're right. The only conflict in that one was that like Spider-Man just didn't listen to Doctor Strange and like screwed everything up. And then Doctor Strange was like, here's how we fix it. And Spider-Man's like, I'm not going to fix it like you say. Until the very end of the movie, he's like, okay, maybe I should fix it like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the next Doctor Strange movie, again, nobody listened to Doctor Strange. So that kind of made me mad. I was like,
it's like he's like the grand wizard of the universe or something like that.
Supreme Sorcerer.
Maybe like, the guy who defeated Thanos.
He's pretty smart. And just like nobody, they're just straight disrespecting him for the past couple movies. I'm like, not a fan.
No,
not a fan. But yeah, you're right. Now that's dredging up the memories of that movie. It was like, oh yeah, no, I did not like.
And
that.
everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is the best movie Marvel's ever created. And I was like, this is the stupidest movie Marvel's ever created. And like, it was better than it was way worse, like way worse than the Eternals.
Oh yeah, Eternals was bearable, I guess.
I actually didn't mind the Eternals. It was
fine.
Refreshing for a Marvel movie.
Sure.
Because it was different from all the other stuff that they were doing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed the lore behind the Eternals.
Yeah.
It could have been better, and there could have been a little bit more stuff. Like, it could have been better. But, like, I would give the Eternals, like, a 6. Maybe a 5 or 6 out of 10.
5 or 6.
Like, it passes in my...
I can't complain that I wasted my money because I went to, like, a dollar theater.
Yeah.
So it was fine.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it was enjoyable enough for me that I spent full price ticket for the tickets, and I didn't mind that I did that. I hated that I spent it for the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
There's been a few other movies where I'm like, ugh, this is the biggest waste.
I don't remember if I saw that one in theaters.
Anyway,
Napoleon.
Yeah, so I'm interested to
Marvels.
I want to go see it because my dad told me about how the movie was.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to me texting you saying like, "Hey, how's the movie?"
Okay.
Or this conversation.
Did your dad already see it, or
no? He's just looking at
just all the
reviews
articles
online.
So you're gonna go see it with him?
No.
Oh, all right.
No, because he doesn't want to go to the movies. He doesn't like the crowds.
There's no crowds at the movies anymore.
We've been trying to explain this to him.
Have you been in the past 3 years, Stephen's dad?
No, that's the thing. He hasn't. The last movie. Well, actually, that's a lie. The last movie he saw in the theaters was, the human trafficking one, Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom, yeah.
Which
those theaters actually were kind of packed, like the individual theater that you were in, but not the movie theaters.
No, it was like the individual theaters.
Yeah,
they made so much money from that movie. I heard.
I'm glad. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, like we were
movie theaters are not.
We were trying to tell him that. I was like, Dad, we'll just go to like a matinee on Saturday or something like that, and there will be like 7 people in the theater, and 4 of them will be us.
Yeah,
right. Like,
you pick whatever seat you want.
Exactly.
You're not. Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's okay. He just always watches all his movies on the plane.
Oh, okay. He travels
enough that he just.
Well, maybe he just has to wait till January because they're actually releasing Napoleon. They filmed more content.
Ooh.
They're actually releasing it as like an Apple Plus exclusive series.
Series? Or
like a mini series that like 6 episodes or something. Like I think they filmed 6 hours of content and then trimmed it down to like 3 hours to release as a movie for awards.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been very tempted to get an Apple Plus subscription.
Really?
They have some really good looking shows. They also have what's the one? It's the soccer coach one.
Oh, the one that everyone says is so funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name.
What's it called? I've watched a couple clips of it on more than a couple clips.
That doesn't seem like it'd be up my speed. But...
On TikTok, and it actually looks pretty like wholesome. It looks pretty okay. But yeah, I've been tempted because they do have like a bunch of like shows. Jason Momoa has done a bunch of shows with them on there.
Interesting.
And I'm a fan of Jason Momoa's acting in general. Yeah. Like I loved him in Stargate.
Yeah.
In Stargate Atlantis, he was a main character in that. And I would love that show. And then he's obviously in Game of Thrones, and his character was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
A little bit short-lived for me, but I understand that they were following the books and whatnot. But I mean, driving plot for the remainder of the story. So, do the Dothraki then follow
What's her bucket?
What's her bucket?
Where are
dragon
my
queen?
dragons? Yeah, the dragon girl.
Yeah. Daenerys. Sarah? No.
No. Valyria? Daenerys.
Daenerys Targaryen. There you
Targaryen. She started with the last name. That might have been easier.
go. Anyway. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go see Napoleon. I just have to figure out when. I don't know if Ryan and I are going to go today.
I'd be intrigued, like, what extra content they have. Like, I thought the movie was good enough. I'd almost, like, maybe get the Apple Plus or the free trial. At least, like, I'm intrigued to see what extra content they filmed.
Yeah, I don't know how much Apple Plus costs. Or I think they call it Apple TV, don't
Apple
they?
TV Plus, I don't know.
Apple's
I'm sure
service.
it's $12 a month, like everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been very the
movie was good. I'd recommend it. The war scenes were like violent enough. It was a rated R movie, which I didn't realize on all the reviews or trailers or whatever, which I'm fine with. But the war scenes were violent enough without being like too overly graphic. So it's like you still got the horrors of war, which was pretty good. Although they probably could have gone more in depth. So I wonder maybe the series does on his march into Russia, because that like. They could have shown more like brutality there of all the crap they were dealing with.
Yeah. The tuberculosis that infected all of them or whatever.
And just like men going crazy and deserting and all sorts of bad things. They showed just like a little bit of that. There was one time just like his horse gets hit by a cannonball and just like kind of explodes while he's riding it.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. You're like, ooh. Poor horsey.
I did not feel great on the crotch either.
Yeah, probably he fell off, obviously. Yeah, not great. But so it was like rated R really just for the violence, and then there were like a couple of weird sex scenes, but there was no nudity.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned earlier, it kind of goes into Napoleon's personal life. I didn't realize a lot of his like personal struggles at home was trying to get a child. He was trying to have an heir. That's not something I really know, because it's like the people elevated him, so his pride was at this point where he's like, I'm the king, and I must have an heir. And his wife just couldn't conceive.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if that was her fault or his fault.
I was talking to my mom about it, because she'd actually done some reading or research or whatever. They briefly mentioned it in the movie. They speculate, they didn't have great doctors back then anyway, they speculate that she'd been so messed up previously during the French Revolution, just like raped basically, that she couldn't bear kids anymore, because she was an aristocrat in the French Revolution, went through prison and survived.
Yeah.
So that was the, I think, historian speculation why she couldn't bear kids anymore. So it was there were a couple scenes that was like it was relevant to the plot, but they didn't have excessive nudity. She's just trying to get a kid.
Yeah.
So it was kind of sad seeing their relationship, because you can tell that like if Napoleon wasn't this like power hungry dictator by the end, at least at the very start, he did love his wife.
He did the entire time.
Like, yeah. And so like by the end, you think he still loved his wife, but he kind of just like the power got to his head. Sure. And so it's like, you feel kind of bad for her, especially seeing her side of it at certain points, but also it's not like she was super virtuous. I mean, she kind of slept around on his first few campaigns when he was away from home. So they're both at fault. Nobody's great. But it was cool. Again, it was an interesting movie. It was a good story to see enacted.
Yeah.
So.
And the United States financed part of his campaign.
That's right.
Louisiana Purchase.
Sure thing, Napoleon.
Here's $16 million or whatever it was.
Yeah. Seeing some of his interactions with the other like leaders of other countries were pretty funny. America wasn't in the movie, but like...
Yeah, I mean, we were such a minor part.
Yeah, but he was like trying to be friends with the Russians, and he was like... I think it was after he had divorced his wife, because he was trying to get an heir, so he's like, hey, is your sister spoken for? He's talking to Tsar William of Russia or whatever. He's like, sadly, yes. And he's like, what about your younger sister? And he's like, she's 15. And he's like, dang it, okay. So then they go to the Austrian prime minister or whatever, to talking like, like, hey, how about your sister? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. So it's like he ends up marrying that sister. Then a couple years later, you see they're at war with Russia. And so you wonder like, oh man, if the tides like it would have been so different had he
Yeah.
allied with Russia instead of what did I say?
Austria.
Austria, yeah. Because Austria like ends up being fine, but doesn't help him in the war to come against Russia and Great Britain and Prussia. So
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go see it. I think I'm definitely gonna go see it. Maybe on Monday or Tuesday or
Mhm.
something. I'll go in. Yeah, it looks like a good movie.
That was cool. There's enough like decently funny parts that are kind of cool too. They always make fun of the British for like not knowing how to fight on land.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious. They're like, oh, you British with your ships. Oh, you got the best navy in the world. Woo. Just, ho ho ho, we're French.
What's funny is that we all make fun of the French now, at least America does,
Mhm.
for being, white flag
The white
wavers.
flag joke, like, oh, France always surrenders.
But France, like, historically was like a juggernaut of
Yeah.
war and conquering and
On land, like, yeah, they were unmatched, like, for a
Yeah.
while.
I mean, even, and they still have like the French Foreign Legion is still one of like
Mhm.
the craziest like groups of soldiers ever.
Yeah.
Like I watched a documentary on them recently, and it's insane.
Just the amount of like training they go through, or
Because like 90% of the people are like convicted murderers.
on
and then
their
you
special
can-
forces.
Well, and so instead of like going to jail, you can like they give you a new passport. You are a new person. Like an official. So there was this. It was a documentary following this guy who's from America, and he was in the Marines, and then he didn't do anything in Marines, and he's like I just kind of wanted to drop bodies. Is kind of how he put it.
Wow.
And so he
And
was
that's
like,
illegal to do unless
he's like, and I was in the Marines, and I didn't get to drop any bodies. And so he did his 4 years in the Marines, and he was like, I'm out of here. He went to France, went to the French Foreign Legion, signed up. They gave him a new French passport.
Wow.
They require that you learn French in like 8 weeks or something like that during training.
You got to take a test or whatever, yeah.
And the French Foreign Legion is just full of these murderers.
Jeez.
And their training is craziness. And then they just get their life expectancy. So you're in for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can either
you get a pension after 5 years, like
you get a card that basically says like, if you need us, call this number, basically.
Cool.
But apparently, the life expectancy is like 18 months.
Jeez.
If you're in the French Foreign Legion.
Well, because they just ship them out anywhere over the world to do things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like
their Suicide Squad.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Because they get a new identity, and so at the end of your term, you can either
keep the new
one, and you're a new person, and you can just re-enter society.
Wow.
Or you can adopt your old one. And this guy decided to adopt his old identity.
I guess because he wasn't a criminal.
Yeah, exactly. And so he got his U.S. passport back, and they shredded the old one and just like digitally deleted it and whatnot. And like that person that he was no longer exists.
That's a fascinating documentary, because that's like, you think that would all be hush hush.
I'm sure there was a bunch of other stuff that was like
not allowed to show.
Yeah. But like they showed some of the training and stuff like that, and like it's not like, you see like Navy SEAL training, which is brutal.
Yes.
But it's like group training, right? Like you have a group of people lifting these logs. This one is like you do the group stuff, and then after that you go and like do individual training. And you just get beat on for like a week and a half.
Man.
And then they're just like, they keep doing it over, like it's crazy. It looked insane.
Wow.
But then they go and fight, and you're just like, it's like the best fighting force in the world.
Well, yeah. I mean, you take that like
they
that
just drop bodies.
Raw violence, that energy. You just have to channel it.
It's literally like you put the French Foreign Legion, and they're like, "This is the goal," and they say, "Yes, sir."
Kill.
You're just pointing a howitzer at whatever you want, and just saying like, "All right, fire at will."
Yeah, no rules.
And they just get it done.
And sometimes you need that in a war, in a conflict. Like, dang. That's cool. Thanks for sharing. The one point I spoiler that I wanted to bring up about the French Revolution, about Napoleon. I don't think we're the experts or whatever. People aren't coming to our channel for that, but the interesting dichotomy between the French Revolution and the American Revolution that you kind of see in the movie Napoleon a little bit. The French had the revolution and it was so just bloody, and then afterwards they're just right back putting in a king, and then that's like so terrible because then they try to oust Napoleon and get another king. Like, so much conflict after their resolution. And in the little bit of digging I did this past week, because the movie was coming out, looking like at their constitution compared to ours and sort of the histories and whatnot, their revolution was mostly godless. Basically, the French people at that time were not like
Catholic.
Yeah, they weren't Christians really. They might have been in name, but there wasn't like a firm belief.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas compared to our Constitution, like these are God-given rights that we're fighting for, and so that kind of kept the brotherhood, if you will, of America together. We did have a fairly bloody revolution, but it was fighting against the British for independence, for our God-given rights. The French, they just hated the aristocracy. And so their revolution was just built off of hatred of them being oppressed. They hate the rich people and they just wanted to kill them all. Because, there was no middle class. So it's like the lead up to both the revolutions were different. I'll admit that. But it just like, the conflict didn't end with killing all the aristocrats, because then you just have new aristocrats.
Yeah.
And then people hate them and you try to oust them, like Robespierre was just kept guillotining every aristocrat until people were like, well, hold up, you can just guillotine anybody you want. We got to get rid of him too. So it was just very interesting to see that in their constitution, there's no mention of that, of endowed by their creator with unalienable rights, nothing. Which I think is kind of funny because Jefferson went over to help them with their constitution.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He was like, come on, I know Jefferson didn't write our constitution, but it's like he did the Declaration of Independence. He was there around all of that. And he was,
he did help write the Constitution as well.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's just like, in this case, the rough draft was actually better. I'm going to give you guys the worst version. You guys aren't ready for that yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, I'm not a historian. I'm not an expert on the French Revolution, but it's kind of interesting to think about that during the movie. Like, not saying all of this would have been solved, all of this like crazy tumult in the country, but just a little bit of Christianity, guys, a little bit of brotherhood.
Need some God in your life.
Absolutely. That's because even after they throw out the kings, there's still people who are loyal to the king, and so then they didn't call it a civil war, but it was
effectively a civil war.
Effectively, yeah. Just that you had the army coming to kill rioters, and it was pretty bad. There was one scene where they just like fire grape shot into a crowd of what do they call them, royalists? Like, oh man,
that's rough.
Yeah, peace at any cost.
Yeah, that's rough.
So,
anyway, is that what do we got on time wise? I think we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, time wise, we got 7 minutes.
I think good to end it there. You want to have any? Do we have another topic you want to
chat about? Black Friday. It's a big American holiday.
Big American holiday. Yeah.
Big spending.
Yeah, I was reading a couple articles this week about how Black Friday is usually like one of the big boosts in the economy.
Right.
And usually it's a good measure of how the economy is doing. People with free capital to spend on, reduced price goods and things like that they might not necessarily need at the moment, but that, would be nice to have.
They're investing it back into the system and it recirculate.
Exactly.
Stimulate the economy.
And this Black Friday, no one went shopping.
Yeah, no one.
Which is not good.
Yeah.
For anything. Because one, it means that there's a whole bunch of excess inventory that no one's going to know what to do with.
Yep.
Two, it means that people don't have free cash on hand, money to do stuff
to buy stuff they don't really need. They're too busy buying gas and groceries.
Yep. And rent.
Necessities.
Because rent is stupidly high right now.
Yep.
And three, it means that these companies that were banking on a Black Friday sale to boost them until, the end of the year, beginning into next year, are going to be hurting.
They're dead in the water.
Yeah. It's not going to be not going to be fantastic for them. And I saw a video this morning, which is, not obviously indicative of the entire system, but it was a video of a Walmart at 7:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Which normally on Black Friday, those are like
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Packed.
I know they have all the aisles filled with the big deals normally.
And this person is walking through, and they are one of 7 people in there.
Jeez.
And the aisles are just full of stuff.
Just one video, but
if let's say it's 50-50, right? It's either like that or it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's 50% of your stores are not being purchased at. For the biggest retailer in the world.
Mm-hmm. The one I saw, again, is just one video, but it was kind of funny. My wife showed me the TikTok of like Best Buy. It's normally a pretty big one. People want to go get electronics on Black Friday. It was just like Best Buy, again, with all of this inventory in the aisles on sale or whatever. And there's just nobody in the store. They're panicking, just like, whoa, guys, slow down was the caption. Like, don't step on each other. There's like 2 customers in the store. I mean.
Yeah.
Like, oof.
I'm interested to see if this is a permanent thing where Black Friday is just dead.
Yeah.
Because of COVID. Did COVID kill Black Friday, or is it like online retailing killed
Amazon? Yeah.
Is in-person Black Friday dead permanently now?
Mm-hmm.
And is it because of COVID, or is it because of Amazon and online shopping?
Yeah.
Or is it because of
the economy?
The economy. And like, how do those intertwine? Because if it's just the economy, then it'll be back.
It'll come back. Yeah, exactly.
Right? But if it's 2 of those or 3 of those, if it's all 3 of those, then it's gone.
It's gone forever.
Right?
Yeah.
But, if the economy was better, maybe we would see more people. But like, is it actually going to affect the bottom line of these companies that much?
Yeah. I was like looking at sales, but I was like, there's nothing I need. And again, the point of Black Friday is they get you with like, okay, maybe you don't need this right now, but, and I was like, I don't have enough disposable cash just to throw at random things.
Exactly.
That I'm probably not going to use. So
yeah. And my dad has normally been a huge Black Friday guy.
I talked about that. Yeah. One of your
huge
family traditions.
Yeah. And he was looking at some of like the ads or whatever. Like on Thanksgiving Day, he took a walk.
Mm-hmm.
A long walk to go find a newspaper that had the Black Friday ads in it, because no one gets the newspaper anymore.
Nope. I used to do that actually. Thanksgiving mornings,
mm-hmm.
I'd go out and find a newspaper for my dad.
Exactly. And we used to get like 2 or 3 different newspapers because they would have the different ads.
Different ads, okay, yeah.
Right? And we'd look at all of them. And he did that yesterday or on Thanksgiving Day, and was reading them, and he's like, "There's nothing."
Nothing.
I think yesterday he went to Home Depot and got like a new Impact.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
But like,
I randomly saw last night, because we got the ad in the mail late, Bass Pro Shop had like $12 jeans, but that's through the weekend. It's not even just Friday. So I'm like,
I might go to Bass Pro then.
Maybe I'll go to Bass Pro and get a pair or 2 of jeans. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But everything else, I was like, I don't need a $200 crossbow. It would be kind of fun, but...
Well, my dad went to Big 5 as well.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I don't know how big they are in the U.S.
I've seen a few around, sporting goods.
Well, they're in Arizona a bunch, but I don't know if they're in, like, I don't know how extensive they are.
I feel like I've seen one in California. No, that was a Dick's. Never mind. That was a Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah. So anyway, Big 5
same type of store.
Yeah. Sporting goods store has, and he was like, normally he would go there and buy like a bunch of stuff, like shoes and all this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
hiking, camping, outdoor, anything.
And he went there yesterday and bought a knife for $15.
All right, cool.
And that's it.
Dang.
And he got a flashlight as well.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
a little headlamp.
Is that even worth leaving the house for on Black Friday?
Not really. He was like, yeah, they have these good deals, and I was like, I don't need another knife. I got too many of those already, and I don't need like another. I don't need a headlamp necessarily. And if I do, I'll just order one on Amazon. Yeah,
that sucks. The one thing that I treated myself to earlier this week, technically, but it was Black Friday, so I'm actually getting into the world of 3D resin printing.
Did you buy a resin printer?
We bought a resin printer, yeah.
Nice.
My wife was kind of pushing me a little bit. She's like, you should do this because your printer sucks. which was funny because she actually maybe wants to branch into like 3D modeling a little bit. She knows like
cool.
2D. I mean, that's her business is graphic design. So she's like maybe wants to learn 3D modeling on the design, and then our like grand scheme of things, we're like, oh, maybe a backup plan. She can model things, I can print them, we can sell them. Ooh, that'll be fun. But at the very least, she can model things she wants, and then I can print them, and then we can have them. So yeah, that should actually be rolling in today.
Very cool.
And then I was, did a little bit of pushing from my wife, and then I kind of pushed myself to convince, like, well, Warhammer. It's an expensive hobby, but if I can get one 3D printer, I can print all the Warhammer I want.
Exactly. That's why Caleb and I did it.
Yeah.
Well, we bought ours was because we were trying to get into Warhammer, and I told Colin and Caleb straight up, I'm like, I'm not spending money on especially because I wanted a Deathcore of Krieg, right? And the Deathcore of Krieg stuff, like for my 1,000 point army, it was almost $1 a point.
Yeah, it was bad.
Which is craziness. To
get the official models for them. Yeah, that's insane.
And so I was like, I told both of them, I was like, there's no way.
Nope. 3D printers. It's the way to go.
Yeah, that's what Caleb and I spent. It was $300 for ours. And I mean, obviously
it's worked pretty good.
Yeah.
Really so well. I'm kind of excited to get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be sick. Super cool.
All
Are you getting a new FDM printer as well, or?
I'll leave that one by the wayside for now, I think.
Yeah.
I either need to fix my old one or get a new one. So I was maybe looking at like Christmas getting a new FDM anyway. But the resin printers had a solid deal. It was like 50% off.
What brand do you get?
The same brand, Elegoo. Yeah. Which everywhere online said it was such a good starter.
Yeah, printer, I mean, and you've seen the quality of ours.
Yeah, like, they look fine.
Like, I mean, you can barely see layer lines.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's pretty good.
It's crazy. But
I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
It's a new toy.
Very cool.
Ooh, Black Friday.
Yeah, I've looked at some gun parts for Black Friday and stuff like that, and just nothing that I've like
20% off.
And it's like not something that's like I'm building this gun so I need to put it together,
Yeah.
There's like a couple gun deals where I was like, ooh, I could buy like a new gun, but I was like, I don't want to. But it's like still like hundreds of dollars that I don't want to spend.
Yeah, if it's not something you need.
It's like, I mean, I could get this cool setup gun, whatever. Anyway.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Hopefully
it all gets better.
Yeah.
And, there it is. Anything else?
No, I'm good. All done for the day.
Very cool.
Until next time.
She is.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the 5G Podcast. We hope you enjoyed.
As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content.
We're available on all social medias, as well as you can watch or listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts.
Again, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next week.
Thanks.